everybody. Good afternoon or good evening. What's up, everybody? My name is Jess Weber. This is the Spiritual Warfare. Just getting into the office here in the studio, and so many things just starting to tick me off. I'm not going to start falling for this kind of stuff that we just keep seeing over and over. And I'm going to tell you my theory, or not theory, but I kind of have a hunch of what's going on with the Epstein stuff, and it's just starting to make more clear. It makes more sense to me. Also, with the Biden health cover-up is also, I have another angle on that as well. And it's just, things don't seem what they seem to be. Especially Joe Biden, and we'll dig right into that. At this advanced prostate cancer that he has, this announcement, it's very strange. It just pops out of nowhere after the leaked tapes of him pretty much not be able to perform at court, or should I say, he couldn't remember a lot of things. This is about the whole investigation about the documents that he had at his house. And then all of a sudden he comes out with prostate cancer, stage 4, right to the bone, or whatever they want to call it. It's just strange, a whole cover up on that. So the problem is that he's always had it. He's been on treatment, right? And the thing is, this is the key factor to know, is that the drugs that you take makes you stumble, makes you stutter, makes you not clear of everything, not cognitive at all. He would have failed miserably, not be able to stand trial because he's just clueless of why the documents are at his house. So it's clear to me is that that's what he was taking. That's why he was acting the way he was during those 4 years. We've known it since 2020, maybe even before that. But it's just starting to make sense. All the things that he did, all the things that he stumbled on and fall and this and all these weird things falling off his plate. He was on drugs. He was on medication for what he supposedly has, prostate cancer. And where's Dr. Jill? Huh? I thought she's a doctor, right? Isn't she a doctor? Come on. You're telling me the best medical, you're telling me they're not testing for any of this? They're just like, oh, yeah, you're in great health, buddy. Did the doctor lie? This whole 4 years needs to be exposed. This whole thing about the election, how it was stolen from Trump, that all needs to come out, because now you're starting to see what happens to a thief. And now we're starting to see the light of everything. He steals the election. You know what? No, I'm not going to blame this on Joe. I'm going to blame the people that were funding and pushing Joe to run. And I think what they did is they put Joe up there, right? And they knew that they had it in the bag. They knew they rigged everything. They knew everything was going to be in their favor in the end. Pump him with drugs. Just let him be the front man, whatever. No one gives a crap about him. Joe Biden is the victim in all of this. He thinks that the border's secure. He has no idea. The people tell him, hey, listen, the border's secure. They're telling Biden, everything's good. We're good, Joe. Don't worry. And Joe Biden, he's senile, going crazy, on these drugs, has no idea what's going on. And he thinks the border's secure because his people's telling him. He goes on the news, yeah, the border's secure. And everyone's like, you're a liar. The border's not secure. But the mainstream media's in on it as well. This whole thing needs to be exposed. Here's a clip. Here's a clip where Joe Biden and Mr. Hur were talking about the documents. I believe this is what this is. Let's put it on Fox. Here we go. Let's play it.
I didn't.
Okay. Do you have any idea where this material would have been before it got moved into the garage?
Well,
he's talking about the documents being moved to the garage. He's trying to figure out where they got moved before.
it was 2013. When did I stop being vice president?
He thinks 2013, and then he says, when did I stop being vice president? He has no idea.
17. So I was vice president. So it must have come from vice president stuff. That's all I can think of.
That's all he can think of. So little stuff like this were leaking out, and then all of a sudden the whole announcement that he has this whole advanced prostate, They say Biden's cancer didn't appear overnight. Advanced prostate cancer takes years to develop, and it's easy to detect. So why did the White House claim he was completely fit last year? They knew, they lied. This is a massive cover-up. And the physician, are they in on it? Did they lie to Joe? Did they say, Joe, you're good, but we need to take these pills for your cholesterol? He thinks he's taking cholesterol medication or whatever they want to make public. Because you also remember during that administration, a lot of people used to talk about how he was just being injected all the time. Remember, he had that whole CPAP marks on his face. You know how he acts different when he does debates. He's all up and going, and then he starts to slowly decline. There was almost like there were several Joe Bidens at the time. But it is a massive cover-up. You have to admit it is. And the whole 4 years should be exposed. These people need to go to prison for what they did. Even with the auto pen. Who was in control of the auto pen? That's another thing. They had that one lady on the Sean Ryan show that switched from the Democrat Party to the Republican. Well, she switched. I don't know if she's on the Republican. She just got out of the Democrat Party. But she used to be a fundraiser for the Democrats. And she used to watch. Basically, what they were doing is that everyone had their own little agenda. And then they would just push little things through. They would get this done, that done, whatever. That's where you're seeing the whole Doge being exposed. With the whole DEI, all these different programs, and all these different little agencies. All this wasteful money that went out the door. All these fucking liberals stole and cheated those past 4 years. People need to go to jail for all that. But I don't know if they will. It's unbelievable. Here's Joe Biden here admitting that he had cancer. I don't know if this is another thing with Joe Biden. He did a lot of these different things during his administration where he would admit something or say something like there was a time where he even said, yeah, well, if we cheated with the election, which we did, and then he moved on and kept talking. Everyone's like, wait a minute. You said you cheated for the election? What? There was a lot of things that he did when he was in the administration. He did a lot of that kind of stuff. And here's another gaffe, you want to call it.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. And
hello. It's just little things like that which pop up here and there. It has to be a cover-up, and it also has to be a distraction from all the leaks, these audio leaks that they're coming out with him. I think it is. If you think about it, it's a good distraction to have in your bag. You think about it. They know the administration was garbage. They know they all stole and whatever they did during the last 4 years. They knew that they probably totally forgot that he has prostate cancer. And then all of a sudden they got a checkup one day and he's like, all right, it looks pretty bad. And besides, there's audio leaks. We probably should switch up the stories. Here we go. So that is like the pinnacle of the administration, the Biden administration. It's just a complete, when you steal an election, it's almost the karma is going to kick you in the butt. And it's almost starting to be exposed. And it's just clear to me how that they it's just, I can't believe they got away with it. But hopefully they won't, and people will be accountable. Unbelievable, but believable. All right, another thing that is absolutely just making me angry is that the James O'Keefe with this Epstein new footage received. Where here we go. I know we talked about it. His first clip that came out. It's getting ridiculous, folks. Watch this.
Now, we take you inside the infamous and mysterious temple. New footage received by O'Keefe Media Group gives.
This is old footage. We've all seen this footage the day after Epstein died. There was a few people that went over to Epstein Island and filmed all this. So this is old footage.
A detailed look at the interior. No one has ever seen this before. Here we go. You are looking.
Now look at this picture, and then the next picture is the exact same wall, but just flipped. That's all they did. They just flipped it to make it look like they were showing the full room. This is unbelievable.
Inside this mysterious building, and the walls are covered with what appears to be a marble.
And now they're going back to the other side. Same
textured
picture.
finish. Now, if you look up at the top of this mysterious temple, you'll see what appears to be a detailed celestial painting filled with astrological figures. Despite his alleged vast wealth, the temple seems like a cheap illusion, a set in a stage play that still needs an ending. We posted all of the newly obtained video and photos of Epstein's Island structures to our website, exclusive to our subscribers at O'KeefeMediaGroup.com.
So you have to pay to see the footage that he wants to show people. I'll tell you one thing. If there's anything interesting, it would have been leaked by now, and it would have been all over Instagram. Okay? But you're going to charge. You're a fully funded media company. You could easily be selling your wellness ads still. I'm sure you could get sponsors. You're telling me you are charging people to see the most crucial thing ever, that everybody is dying, our whole side. You're taking advantage of our right side. It's like a grift. What are you doing? What are you possibly doing? Why would you do something like that? Do you have to? Are you struggling for money? Maybe that's what it is. But people don't want to see the inside of this shit. They want to see the torture chambers. They want to see evidence that there was children. They want to see where the cameras were installed. They want to see where all the tapes were hidden. They want to see a client list. That's what people want to see. Now, the more I keep digging into this, if we want to go to his channel here, remember Pam Bondi? Remember that whole
Yesterday.
Remember this whole video? Pam Bondi at a restaurant talking to one of her personal people, right? It wasn't James O'Keefe person that set her up with Pam Bondi on a date or anything, right? Pam Bondi comes out and says this.
Of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. With children and with child porn. I was just very... Anyways. So he gets exclusive footage of Pam Bondi saying this to a random person. The question is how did you get a microphone on that table? This is the footage.
They're going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There's tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
So how do you get audio for that? Unless that person was literally spying on Pam Bondi. That's the AG. I mean, you're the Attorney General. You're going to do undercover work against her? Are you insane? And that's why I don't think the person that Pam Bondi was sitting with was in on it. So how did you get a microphone on that table? So this is my conclusion. James O'Keefe is working with Pam Bondi. And I think that any information comes out is going to be through Pam Bondi. And he's an asset to the government with Pam Bondi to just steer this direction, steer this Epstein thing in a wild goose chase. What's the next video? Down the tunnels of Epstein, and we saw a statue of a naked man. And now, next week, we'll keep continuing. How long are you going to drag this whole Epstein thing on? People are going to get pissed. Or people will get sick of it and forget about it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, yeah, that ongoing thing. The thing is ongoing, still ongoing. Holy cow.
Have you ever?
It's just unbelievable. This is what pisses me off right here. Is my price is my life. Okay. Anyone that preaches about not selling their soul, sold their soul. I mean, you literally just, it's up in lights. He sold his soul. He had to have. It doesn't make any sense that you put a paywall behind this so everyone can go see it. Doesn't make any sense. And to see pictures, just to see pictures, no videos. He doesn't have no camera person inside. You would have seen leaks by now. People would have downloaded it, uploaded it, and it would have been out. No one sees anything because there's probably nothing to see. I mean, we're gonna have Chuck try to sign up and check it out and see if there is anything, but I highly doubt it. But it's just really. Here's that comment. It says, I can't believe you did this. I stick around for a little bit to see if you change course, but this is ridiculous. Sorry, not paying to watch it. Charging for this? Jeez. And then you had Dan Bongino and Kash Patel literally saying that he did kill himself. What happened to what? Why would you say that? And then Dan Bongino's like, yeah, I saw the file. It's clear. You know, Kash Patel's like, yeah, I've been in and out of these places and enough, you know, I've seen it. Like,
I was the lead Russiagate investigator for the House Intelligence Committee, and
this is not it. There's another one, and it's just like, what? You're saying that he did kill himself? That he didn't kill himself? Really? Kash Patel, Dan Bongino said that. And we were thought, you know, these guys were like, don't tell me that he killed himself before, you know, obviously before. And sure enough, they flipped. Everyone thinks they're lying. Is this just to keep distracting us about Epstein, to keep confusing us? Now the people on our side that we wanted in the administration are now telling us that he did kill himself? Something's not adding up. This whole thing just seems like we're being played. Next week, we're going to showcase the Epstein underneath behind the kitchen sink. What type of soap did Jeffrey Epstein use? I mean, is that the kind of crap you're going to keep coming out with? Pictures.
Now,
this is all old stuff. I don't understand. This is old. I mean, we've seen this guy. We've seen this footage. Seen the pictures. It just pisses me off. Look at this. And then he makes it seem like it's a second picture. No, it's the exact same picture, close up, flipped. That's all that is. Make it look like we're looking at the whole room. No, we're missing we're missing three other sides here. Well, like, who cares about this? No one cares about this. People want to see the trap doors. They want to see what we've been knowing for years. We just need the proof. I don't believe it. Sorry, I don't. It pisses me off. But we'll keep following along. We'll play the game, right? We'll see what happens next week when we see the inside of the bookshelf. What books did he read? Huh? Oh, whoa. He was into porn. Oh, wow. I think it's going to be a massive cover up in the end. I think they're going to just put everything on Epstein. All the children had sex with Epstein. Done. One person. That's it. They're not going to mention clients. They're not going to mention. There's no way. All these people that fooled around at Epstein Island are still alive. They're not going to put it out. It would cause a huge disruption in America, which we need completely. And I think he's just covering it up with Pam Bondi. I think they're working together. They have to be. How did you get audio? It's just, you got to ask these questions, folks. And listen, I could be all wrong about this, but this is what my intuition is telling me right now. That's where I'm at with this. Now, moving on. All right. So this is interesting from leading reports. Breaking staffers operating President Biden's auto pen are allegedly taking payoffs in exchange for pardons, per Tim Bergrich. So that's interesting. I love how they say these breaking things, but there's no proof, right? Another not strange, but interesting. Trump is now going to build a golden dome around America. And Canada wants to be involved as well, so they're going to be covered as well. Why do we need a golden dome? When is the last time we've ever had a missile hit United States? It's not like we would have prevented 9/11. I don't know if this is a good idea. I really don't know. I think, you think about, you watch so many movies about, the Skynet. Is Tesla, is the whole, is Elon's satellites going to be connected to the Golden Dome, which I probably think they would have to make some kind of deal, right? They would have to do something working together. I mean, you would figure you would want that type of technology in space, Elon's space, you know what I mean? It's not going to deal with Bezos. Bezos a joke. Listen, I'm not harping on. Listen, I love Trump, what he's doing, and everything is great. But I'm just taking it back. You know what I mean? Like, he thinks it's a great idea. It might be a great idea. But when is the last time there's a missile that hit America and blew up a town? Why would you need a Golden Dome? It's almost like we're preparing for something in the future that he might know about. We all think that he could be a time traveler, right? We've all heard of that story. But a Golden Dome around America, it's almost asking for missiles to hit America, I would think, right? But maybe it will prevent something. I mean, listen, America's huge, okay? You can have a little Iron Dome over Israel. Let's see how that worked out. That didn't work out too well for them. You know what I mean? It's just the Golden Dome. Listen, I love the name. It's going to create a lot of jobs. And it's going to take 20 years or how many, I don't know how many years. They say 4 years to build. But it's going to take a lot long, and then maintenance. And that's just a never ending thing, which is great, right? And I guess we should have something like this, right? I guess that's America first, right? Instead of making Iron Domes for everybody else, I think this is great. I think if anything, I would have really mentioned it. Maybe just hide it. Maybe just say, hey, yeah, we're doing a Golden Dome. That's it. No other information. We don't need to know who's making the technology. Because that's when you start getting people who are they using? They're using Sony for their missiles. Just an example. Yeah, let's get some workers working over at Sony. China. Get in, sleep for a while for 10, 15, 5 years, whatever. Get into America somehow. Get into that technology. Start working on the Iron Dome. Now you got an insider. Anyways, I guess it is time to build our dome. But it's very we haven't had a missile hit us, so I don't know. It'll be interesting. So I'm for it. All right, I'm for it. All right. All right, illegals are on the run. This is a big video that just popped out today or yesterday. And this is all about USA attorney takes on CA's sanctuary status. So now we'll be able to, I guess we're allowed to now take illegal aliens out of prison and take them into ICE custody.
In a Fox exclusive, you're watching an incredibly rare interaction as the jail in Los Angeles transfers an illegal alien to ICE custody. The sanctuary jurisdiction forced to hand this Mexican national over thanks to a first-of-its-kind federal operation.
With this operation, we're going to be neutralizing California's sanctuary state policies.
Bill Asaley is the U.S. attorney in L.A. and the architect of Operation Guardian Angel.
California is the testing ground on this. We are one of the largest sanctuary jurisdictions.
All right, guys, thanks for circling up.
So how does it work? Asaley has created a federal task force made up of ICE, HSI, FBI, DEA, and ATF, all working together out of this office in downtown LA.
How's his criminal history? He's got the domestic violence.
They scan these criminal databases daily to find illegal aliens in local jails who have been previously deported from the United States.
We have a warrant for your arrest.
If they've returned to the U.S., they've committed a federal felony known as illegal reentry. And Asaley's office will immediately seek a criminal arrest warrant against them, which, unlike an ICE detainer, sanctuary jails can't ignore.
We're going to flood the system with warrants for criminal illegal immigrants that are in county jails. They can ignore a detainer, but they cannot ignore a criminal arrest warrant.
The federal task force brought us with them as they went to Twin Towers Jail in downtown LA to take custody of a previously deported alien they found in their database and filed a warrant on. He was facing local charges for robbery, but the sanctuary jail immediately handed him over to ICE, with California's sanctuary policies unable to protect him from the criminal warrant.
They have no choice. They will comply. And if they don't comply, if they interfere in our ability to arrest a federal felon, they can expect to face consequences.
I mean, it's unbelievable that we have to go and make laws and go to all this length just to deport illegals that committed crimes in this country. Why do jails want to keep these illegals in their jail? That's what I want to know. Why would they? Well, I'll tell you why. The reason why they want to keep these illegals in jail, right? They do their time. They do whatever the cleanup they have to do at the jail because, you know, jails, I don't know. Some of them make money, right? Some of them make the plates on your car, right? We've all heard that. I don't even know if that's true anymore. They keep these illegals in the state, right? Hear me out. They keep them here, right? And then when they release them, they're going to become a Democrat voter, right? That's basically what they're doing. They're just trying to harvest all these Democrat voters. That's what they want. That's why they're going so far of trying to protect them. That's why they're going to the ICE facilities and going to El Salvador to Dr. Garcia and having margarita drinks with them, right? I don't know if they really did. That was just always, that's the one fun talking point you want to say. But anyways, this is all about the whole corruption of the past 4 years. They are upset that they lost, obviously. They're upset that they couldn't cheat again. And they did all this work to get all these illegals in this country. And now they're pissed because Trump's trying to get rid of them all. And then they're going out of their way to protect them because those are going to be their future voters. Regardless if they're going to vote in the next 4 years or the next 8 years, they are going to be their voters in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They are thinking of the long game. And they did really good with the long game. Think about it. They went to the schools. They got into the city council. They become mayor. You got Muslims taking over Minnesota. I mean, in Michigan as well. I mean, all over. They're doing the slow game. LGBT, the DEI, they did that whole thing that all started back in the day. Now you got these libtards in college now in charge of certain things. Now they're running for certain things. And now the whole thing is changing. And then all of a sudden we finally wake up. Trump gets in there, right? Finally we got somebody that will change things. And we are so behind. It's going to take another 20, 30, 40 years to flip the script. Maybe even longer. Because these DEI, these LGBT, you know, they are on rampant. They were on a huge high. And it's over. And listen, Trump has to be able to push the next person in 2028, wherever that's going to be, It's got to be on the same agenda. It cannot even roll back a second. It cannot be a moderate Republican. It's got to be a MAGA first. That's it. We're going to push MAGA even more. Put the Bible in the schools. I don't care. Why not, right? Ban the pride flag if they have to. I mean, why are you promoting a flag that showcases that you have sex with the same sex? That's basically what you're saying. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody. It's like, what? It's so bizarre to me that you just want to show, hey, I'm a queer, so I'm gonna show my flag and tell everybody. Well, nobody wants to know that you're personal garbage. Nobody wants to know who you have sex with. I mean, that's private, I would think, right? But no, this is what the devil wants. He wants to showcase the sin and be prideful of it. He wants you to be proud of it. Be proud of this. It's not a sin. And then he continues on. This is not a sin. And then before you know, you have no morals. That's basically what the Democrats are. No morals whatsoever. Anyways, you got the left still trying to cover up or, apologize about the Biden debacle and how they defended him. Here's Megyn Kelly and Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper responds. It's pretty interesting.
For the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seem to be running cover for the president.
I don't think
interested.
That's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are
to
no.
watch somebody on stage
That's so amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering.
mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no
Jake.
standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally right. That's the thing, because when I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position, but she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which you guys do at length, including on page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it. You covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years.
Selling a book. First, they spit out the lies about Biden, saying, oh, he's tippity top shape. He's sharp as a nail. He's running around circles. He's got more energy than me. I'm going to defend him on national TV. Oh, he's the best Joe Biden ever. Oh, we're wrong. Capitalize. Let's write a book. Holy cow. We were totally we couldn't believe it. Of course you're going to write a book. Oh, we had no idea. You know why they do this? It's because they can't ever admit They knew the whole time. They have to pretend they didn't know. They got to pretend they got fooled. That's what they're doing. That's why he's writing a book, so they can all go back to the source. Wait a minute, Jake Tapper, you knew, didn't you? This is, let's say, 10 years from now. Jake Tapper, you knew Biden was losing it, right? No, I actually wrote a book. Where's my book? Here's my book. I wrote this 10 years ago, remember? I never knew. I was fooled. It's all in my book. My book. Oh, you didn't know. You wrote a book about it, of how humiliated you were. Oh, see how smart that is? That's pretty smart. That's how you get away with it. And that's what the Democrats do. Just keep, it's an ongoing trend with these people. You can keep pointing them out what they do. It's unbelievable, actually, but believable. Remember, I mean, just even Jill Biden here, this was just like talking to a 2-year-old. Remember this after the debate?
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the... And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
Thank God our president is in good shape, in good health, and is ready to lead in our second term.
The president is in good health. He's very active. You see it for yourself with your own eyes.
Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day.
Debate, but discuss it with him.
You get the point. All right. I didn't think we were going to go back to Joe Biden, but as there was just more little stuff that I wanted to point out. Here's a rally of people they think this is fun.
86, 47, 86, 47, 86, 47, 86, 47, 86.
After the Comey thing, they're out there protesting and they're chanting that. How nice is that, huh? Anyways, Diddy's on trial. I don't know if you're following that. That's just getting weirder and weirder. It's kind of getting gross, actually. The whole case of Cassidy was in there and talking about how they were urinating all over her. And, it's just getting gross. So it's almost like Jeffrey Epstein had his little blackmail operation of the politicians, the elite. Diddy taking care of Hollywood, doing the exact same thing. Think about it, right? He's in Hollywood. He's blackmailing all the actors and actresses to do what they want. So when they do the films, they push them and they're sickos. So it's now we're going to find another one. Who's the next person? But the thing is that Diddy has a list, right? Where's the Diddy list? Where's all the people that he blackmailed? That's what I want to know. Was there children involved? Is what I want to know. Remember the Mexican Navy ship that we said that crashed the other day and 2 people died? Or a few people, I think 2 people died, Chuck, how many? 2? And a bunch of people were injured, 14 people injured. They're all on top of that thing and they crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. Chuck Schumer is blaming Doge for that. Unreal.
We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms. And I have the general sense of a Doge dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard. To put it mildly, after being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear. There are many more questions than answers. We know that there has been meddling by the Trump administration into the Coast Guard staffing, and now we need to know how this meddling might have impacted the events of last night.
Unreal. They will not stop. Any little problem, they will blame Trump. It's unbelievable. Trump makes a good point about blaming the doctor. Was he involved? Does he know? Is he even a good doctor? Anyways, here's Trump and Melania. Is this a video? Trump and Melania signing the. This is interesting. Melania came out with some bill about Take It Down Act, where if someone makes an AI video or a picture of you naked or having sex or something crazy, someone puts it out on the internet. It's, I guess, the act makes it. They take it down. You can sue the person. You can get in big time trouble for doing it. And there's Trump and Melania signing it. And I wonder, this is interesting that it comes out now. You know what I mean? But we've already seen photos and stuff like that through AI. There's an app, actually. I remember seeing an app where you put any picture in the app and it'll literally just declothe you. It's very weird. I wonder if that company is getting sued or if they got shut down. Interesting. But I think that's a good play. I think that's a good one. It also protects all the celebrities. The celebrities could say it's AI, and they can get it taken down, and they'll say, and then everyone will know it's fake, but really it could be real. I think it's that could play in it as well. Here's a video that everyone's talking about. This lady, literally, she's an illegal alien in Florida, faces up to $1.8 million fines for failing to leave the U.S.
This woman, who we will call Maria, says she did not want to use her real name, concerned she could be targeted. But she does want people to know her story.
No deseo ir para atrás.
She told us, I don't want to go back. She's a mother of 3 children who are American citizens. She asked us not to show them. Maria arrived from Honduras in February of 2005. 2 months later, she had an order to leave the country after not appearing at a hearing, but she never left. I asked her why she did not go to the hearing.
Yo le dije al oficial, yo no tengo familia.
I told the immigration officer I don't have any family in this country or a specific place to stay. She told me she entered the U.S. through California.
Pero en ningún momento me llegaron ningún documento.
I never received any document, and they did not know where I was going to be. This month, she received this letter at her house in South Florida. She has been fined for more than $1.82 million.
It says that the government could fine
this woman, who we will call Maria,
an individual, an undocumented individual, daily $500.
Michelle Sanchez is Maria's attorney. She showed us the document Maria received.
They're supposed to say on the date that she was advised, and this is blank because they never advised her of the penalties.
Okay.
So that's going to be my argument.
The 1952 Act has historically rarely been enforced, but in February, the Trump administration announced it will penalize people living in the U.S. illegally under that act.
What she has is an order of removal in her absence.
Is that still accumulating even today?
Yes. It's
so that figure is increasing?
It could increase. For me, that is absolutely nuts.
Sanchez filed a motion to reopen her client's case last year under a policy of the Biden administration, giving ICE attorneys the discretion to reopen cases and lift removal orders.
Have you ever been arrested?
Nunca.
When I asked her if she would voluntarily return to her home country,
an individual
country,
me dolería tanto dejar mis hijos.
It would be extremely painful to be separated from my children. This is their country. This is all they know. Please have mercy.
You can take your children with you. You've been here for 20 years. You're telling me you haven't learned a lick of English? Really? 20 years. You haven't learned one word of English. She didn't say no when he says, will you go back? Or whatever. When she said no, she said it in Spanish, docho or whatever. Unbelievable. $1.8 million. How much money has the government gave you to live here? How much money have you taken advantage of people? Well, how do you get through life in America without ID, Social Security? I don't understand that. Like like if I want to go somewhere or I want to buy something or I need a credit or whatever, I have to show ID. I don't understand how these illegals get away with it. There must be a process for them. I'm sure the Democrats set that up. Well, Democrats just lost another voter plus her 3 children because they're all getting deported, I hope, right? All right, here's another interesting video I want to play. This is that kid again. Let's see what he says again.
A lot of Christians have this idea that, the Jews are the Old Testament or the New Testament. The relationship between the New Testament and the Old Testament, it's not a sequel. The New Testament and the theology in it replaces the theology of the Old Testament. So in the Old Testament, you have a religion that's based on the people of Israel. They make sacrifices at the temple. They have rabbis. They have the law. But when Jesus arrives, he changes everything, because he becomes the law. We say that he is the law. The law is embodied in him.
Right.
So the Jews were saying, well, the law of Moses says you have to stone this woman. And he says, well, I'm the law. He says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. He completes and fulfills and perfects the law. He personifies the law. So in the same way that God gave Moses the 10 Commandments in the Ark of the Covenant, God gave us the law through Mary. We see Mary as the new Ark of the Covenant. We see Jesus as the new 10 Commandments. She carried him in her womb, just like the Ark carried the Old Testament. He is the law. He fulfills the law, just like the Old Testament was the law. And then when Jesus dies on the cross, the veil is torn inside the temple. And within a generation, the temple itself is destroyed. There's always talk about the temple. The temple itself is destroyed because Jesus becomes the new temple. There's no need for a temple. There's no need for animal sacrifices. He becomes the sacrifice. So in the Old Testament, they're sacrificing animals. They talk about the red heifer. They're trying to do that. God gives us a more perfect sacrifice. He offers up himself. And so this is where a lot of the Protestants say, we need to support Israel because the Bible says those who bless Israel will be blessed. That's in the book of Genesis. And the book of Genesis is talking about what is Israel in the Old Testament and the first covenant that God makes with the Jewish people. When Jesus comes, just like everything else, Israel's transformed. The laws changed, the priesthood has changed, the temple has changed, and Israel changes. What was the family and the race becomes the body of Christ. He says there is neither Jew nor Gentile. The new Israel is the Christians. A lot of
Interesting. Just, I don't know. Makes you want to think. Here's a response on James Comey. Tries to play victim. It says people are mad at him just from walking on the beach with his wife. That's what he said. That's what this guy said.
We're back in the middle of a political firestorm.
Yeah, for walking on the beach with my wife. So I don't know how we ended up here. It never occurred to me that it was any kind of controversial thing, but that's the time we live in.
So take me back to the walk on the beach.
We were walking on the beach. We went to the beach to prepare for this week, which was the launch of my book, and to think about the book and to prepare to answer questions about it. And we were walking back towards the road, and we saw in the sand someone had arranged shells with numbers. And Patrice, my wife, said, why would someone put an address in the sand? And I said, I don't know. And we stood over it, and I said, I think it's some kind of a political message. And she said, 86, when I was a server, she did a lot of work in restaurants, meant to remove an item from the menu when you ran out of ingredients. And I said, well, to me, as a kid, it always meant to leave a place, to ditch a place. I said, that's really clever. So then she said, you should take a picture of that. And I did. And I posted it on my Instagram account and thought nothing more of it. And
you are back.
Until I heard through her that people were saying it was some sort of a call for assassination, which is crazy. But I took it down. Even if I think it's crazy, I don't want to be associated with violence of any kind. But until.
Do you buy that? I love how they went right to some definition out of a restaurant. Yeah. I bet they had to think about that one. I bet no one's ever said that in a restaurant. 86, what? Yeah, right. Sure. I don't know. All I remember, it was murder. 86, that fool. You know what I mean? Back, if you lived in the hood where I did. That's where I lived. I lived in the hood. All right, folks. Let's see here. Professor Amy Coney Barrett, 2024 Biden. Supreme Court should not rule on an immigration case because it lowers the court, because the lower courts had not ruled yet. So this is something about Amy Coney Barrett. So it says Professor Amy Coney Barrett in 2024, during the Biden administration, she says the Supreme Court should not rule on immigration case because the lower courts had not ruled yet. Now we're in 2025, Trump administration. She says the Supreme Court should rule on immigration, even though the lower courts have not ruled. That's right. ABC and Wolf in sheep's clothing. Great. Yep. Good thing we were all behind her, right? Here's Mike Lindell back at it again, trying to raise money for his trial. I guess his trial is coming up about the election, I believe. Election integrity.
Promised the president, Vanessa, 3 weeks ago or a month ago when I was with him, I said, sir, I promise you, I said, we're not going to let these next 4 years of your greatness, of all the things you're doing to help all of us, not just one party, but all the people, we're not going to let it be in vain. We're not going to be just a blip in history where you had all these greatness, make America great again, and the golden age, as he calls it. That golden age has to be more than 4 years, and it will be with all your help out there. Start here, donate. And if you can't donate, your prayers fine. Go tell you, if you can't donate, go tell everybody you know to donate, and they'll tell 20 other people. This is it, everybody. We need your help. I could sit here and help my pillow, use the promo code. We've got to go right for the funds. We need the funds now for this trial right now. So I know you probably had other guests and stuff, Vanessa, but yeah.
Oh, I guess he needs funds for the new trial. Interesting. Hoochiness says, actually, I've worked in a restaurant for 30 years, and it does mean item is out of stock. Hoochiness, that does not help the show whatsoever. Does not help at all. I remember I worked in the restaurants. I never said that. I never said 86. What was it even mean? We're 86 we're 86 dough. I worked in a pizza restaurant. I worked at, a couple places. I don't remember. It doesn't even make any sense. 86. How do you say it though? Hey, we're 86 out of the bread. That's double talk there. 86 bread? That doesn't make any sense. 86 ice cream? We're out of 80. You would have to say 86 ice cream, which means we're out of stock of ice cream. No one ever said that. I even worked in the bar industry. We never said 86 vodka. No one's ever, that does not make any sense. 86. How would you say it, Hoochie? How do you, give me a sentence. How do you say 86 and you're out of whatever? Google an 86 list. I will Google that. Yeah, but it's all been changed now. Now it's let's see here. This is restaurant slang. 86 means to remove an item from a menu because it's no longer available. This could be due to sold out ingredients. Yeah, but I need a sentence. I want to see a sentence. How do you say 86? I want a sentence. How do you say it in a sentence? All right, we're getting examples. Here we go. We are out of a special pasta dish, so please 86 it from the menu. Okay, see that we are 86 green beans. Come on, who talks like that? No one talks like that. Why wouldn't you just say we're out? We're out. The bartender told him he was 86. He was 86, so he had to leave. This means the customer's banned from the establishment. The bartender told the customer he's 86. Okay, so he had to leave. The manager said we're 86ing the appetizers because ingredients were spoiled. Oh, come on. No one ever said any of this stuff. This is unbelievable. But thank you for bringing it up. All right, folks, if you haven't done so, you need to do so. Go to webersway.com/shop and check it out there. All right. Go there right now. If you haven't done so, if you're a supporter of the show, please go there. Help us out. Keep continuing. It's not actually helping us out. It's actually just, it's our clothing line. Spiritual warfare. It's an actual clothing line. Okay. Some of them are, some like this, we got Patriot Strong. Okay. We might redesign this one, probably, most likely. We have to. Jose needs to get on that. But anyways, we got the latest and greatest shirts, jackets, jogging pants, hats. You know it. We got it. Armor of God shirt is in the finally in black logo. A lot of people were requesting that. It's finally done. Okay. It's here. So you're welcome. And I just want to thank everybody for getting those. Here's the 2 hot jackets that everybody has been getting. The zip up hoodies. I call them jackets because the material is kind of like a jacket. It's like a polyester, kind of a blend. Armor of God and the spiritual warfare hoodies. Those are selling fast. And obviously we have our Trump gear and some kids' clothes, not too many. And obviously the 50 states. Those are always a big seller. If you haven't got your state shirt, they are all available. So your state is available there. All 50 states are there. And we also have United States Strong Through Christ. So you can get that right now at webersway.com/shop. And hopefully one day we'll get spiritualwarfare.com. So far, I guess it goes to a church site. I guess it gets redirected somehow. But someday we'll own that site. I think that's our goal. So just check it out, guys. Use the promo code GODWINS because we know God wins in the end for 10% off. And also remember, free shipping is still going on at webersway.com. And if you see us in Walmart, a lot of people tell us that they see our clothes in Walmart. Yes, that is us. So, but instead of buying it on Walmart online, just go to our site. We are on Etsy. Just go to our site. Obviously, when it's on Etsy or Walmart, some of the funds does go to them, and they take too much, I think. But we are there. Other than that, folks, man, it has been a interesting night. So, with all that said, it's time to pray. And we're going to pray.
I won't ever yield. Oh, spiritual warfare, fighting for my heart. Light against the darkness, tearing lies apart.
You know, sometimes you think about who do we pray for? You know, there's so many enemies.
I didn't.
We're going to pray for Joe Biden. I don't think we have yet, have we? Here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray to you tonight. We pray about Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis. We ask you, Lord, let this cover-up be exposed to everybody in this nation. We ask you, if he has cancer, prostate cancer, please, we ask you to heal it in your name, Lord. To show him that you are the one and only, Lord, before he does die, because he's very old. So we ask you, Lord, to have him realize that you healed him, that you showed him the truth and the life and the light and your way, Lord. So he comes out and says, you know what? I've been saved by Jesus, and tells the nation that he loves Jesus and he loves Trump and he is changed. And everything else gets exposed, and everything we know that to be true becomes to light. So we thank you, Lord. We love you. We say this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, folks, that wraps up today's show. The song you're listening to is called Spiritual Warfare. I kind of like it.
I'll stand and I'll cry in the name of the truth. I'll rise up today. In the name of the truth, I'll rise up today. In this spiritual war, I'll never back down. With grace as my guide, I'll wear the crown.
Red is my sword, cutting through the night. In the name of the truth, I'll rise up today. Temptation calls my name, tries to pull me low. I've got a promise that won't let me go. The word is my sword, cutting through the night. Guided by the Spirit, I'm ready to fight. Demons tremble when I call his name. Every chain will break, no fear remains. Heaven's on my side, the victory's won. Through the cross, the battle's overcome.
Oh, spiritual warfare, fight name of the truth, I'll rise up today. In this spiritual war, I'll never back down. If grace is my guide, I'll wear the crown.